Good evening, good day. This is Elle Mann here with Kris Keppeler, an award-winning podcast producer, a writer, a narrator, and she's here now. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. Happy to be here.
So I crammed and I listened to a few hours of your shows since last night, and I found them pretty uplifting. So thank you, because we're in some really weird times right now, and I just found them light and uplifting. And my first question is that, well, I noticed that you didn't say, I think, anything politically correct, no curse words, nothing that anyone could find offensive, which I can strongly relate to. Not. So what factored into your decision to not offend anyone?
Well, I hate politics,
Okay.
so that's why I don't do anything political. I once ventured down to our state capitol to advocate for better film production, to get better film production here in Washington.
Mhm.
Worst day of my life.
Really?
Worst day of my life.
Why?
So that's why I don't. However, I don't curse a lot, but yes, I do have stories where there is cursing. But it's usually very little of it, so you could probably really not notice, but it's sometimes there. So I can't say my podcast is absolutely squeaky clean. So I do say the odd F-bomb, yeah, damn, shit, things like that. Yeah, okay. They do come up every once in a while, and I just go with it. So.
Well, compared to my last stand-up show at Governor's, I was told by a woman in the audience, I'm a reverend, and there was another man who's a stand-up comedian who's a reverend, and she said the two reverends were the dirtiest out of everyone. So, unexpected question. Does your narration podcast personality differ a lot from your real life persona?
No, you're hearing me.
Okay.
Hearing me. Yeah.
So, sort of related, what are your thoughts on cancel culture?
I think, well, right now my concern is it's not being very effective against the conservative crap. Yeah.
Like, what are some things you'd like to see canceled?
I just my partner is into conservative stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sends me running out of the room most often. But I just heard one of their commentators going off on censorship on Joe Rogan, but of course nothing is ever said about books being banned in Texas.
Right, there's a lot of
hello, that's censorship.
Interesting. So your partner has different views than you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That could cause a problem, but as a team, I'm a big believer in, not sharing the same values and beliefs. That could be a problem. But when you're a team, if my partner brings the same things I bring, we're not a strong team. So if he's bringing a whole other set of skills, that's pretty cool. You're a strong team.
Yeah.
So,
all
right.
Yeah. And he doesn't, he's vaccinated and boosted. So he doesn't go quite that. Yeah.
All right. And favorite topics to speak on in real life or in the podcast?
Oh, I'm always just talking about the weirder things in life, my dogs. I have two dogs, they're brothers, and sometimes I feel like more like I have small children. And they had a little standoff in the kitchen doorway this morning.
But you don't have to send them to college. So.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Just, I love nature. I get a kick out of watching the squirrels, when we're out for a walk, when I'm out for a walk with the dogs. Just, yeah.
Any topics? Sorry, I cut you off.
Just the weirdness of the weirdness of the mundane, getting it in an argument, with the checkout clerk at Safeway about the price of jalapenos.
Okay. Yeah, Safeway. I remember Safeway from Washington.
Yeah.
DC
Yeah.
10 years. So I remember Safeway. Any topics that you maybe like to touch on, but you won't touch on?
No, it's pretty much open. If I find it funny and it's about a first person personal, I like first person personal experiences.
Yeah.
I'll, like I don't know if you listen to the one about the woman who like lacerated her female parts on the gate. That was full of F-bombs.
No, there must be a cutoff on the website, but I do have a question about, okay, so you got into metal detecting. What's it called? When you're a finder on the beach, like those metal detector people?
Oh yeah, the metal detecting one. Yeah.
Right. So you had a story that, if I'm saying this right, you went on vacation with a friend and you thought you're good friends, but she seemed like a stifled woman. She wouldn't say everything that's on her mind. So you kind of had to guess what's on her mind. And you were really into looking for things with the metal detector, and she didn't get it. But at the end of the episode, you shared that she basically parted ways with you as a friend, citing that you had like grown apart, but she didn't give you any clues in real life to tell you that. Like she never voiced.
Yeah, it was kind of a clueless guy story. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I feel like, at least for me, I'll try to give someone a hint once or twice or three times. I don't like myself. Hey, can we work on this in the relationship?
Yes.
I don't know. That's pretty funny about that. I always say though, if you can go on vacation with someone, you still like them at the end, you really like them.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
I think vacations are not a good idea for most people, because I always say 2 hours, that's pretty much all I got for anyone. If I'm spending 3 hours or 4, it's like, oh, okay, you're really connecting.
Yeah.
So narrator, you're a narrator. I listened to your narration on SoundCloud.
Yes.
Great voice.
Thank you.
I tried to narrate a book. That's a whole another story. This is about you. 2 toughest parts about narrating books.
It's just the amount of time that you spend in front of the mic. It can be hours, and I have a very small little studio. So it's really tiring to be, to learn to pace yourself. And then I find editing to be very tedious. Very.
Yeah. Sound editing drives me kind of crazy.
Yes. Very tedious.
So like a page, I remember narrating 1 page. I can imagine it taking even an hour just to do a page.
Oh yeah. It can. Yeah.
Good. Okay.
If you narrate a lot, you sort of get it down where you don't make as many mistakes, but you still make mistakes. You just can't not.
And you breathe the wrong way. There you go.
Yeah. Breathe the wrong way. Oh, I didn't like the way they voiced that character. I forgot to look up this word and I'm not sure how it's pronounced.
Yeah. So totally switching topics. This is a rapid fire interview. We're actually almost done. So you used to do roasts? You used to do comic roasts? Could you tell us?
Yes, I used to do comic roasts.
And then you stopped in 2008.
Yeah, well, when the economy tanked, so did the business.
Okay.
And so, so I just sort of got out of it. I really enjoyed it. It was wonderful live work. It was for an agency that booked singing telegrams and stuff like this, but they expanded it. Oh. So it was like an expanded singing telegram where you called up the client, and it was usually for a birthday or something like that, and you got background on them,
right? And
then you weaved this ridiculous story based on your character that you were coming as. Okay. So around you made like you knew them already, you had all this background information on them, and they're like, I have no idea what's going on. Most people played along pretty well. Sometimes the person who booked it just they didn't guess that person. I don't know. It's like, why did you do this?
Were you in person doing it?
No, they just the person being roasted didn't react very well.
Right.
I mean, their family member, whoever, thought they would, and then they didn't. It didn't happen very often, but it did happen. Yes.
Okay, so I like to make fun of really confident people. You know, I'm just talking to my dad earlier. He said everyone makes fun of me. He's a very, 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 very confident guy. So I said maybe because people know you're confident, so they feel like they can put jabs at you. He's also, you know, a character for sure.
Yeah.
I only make fun of people if they're confident. If I feel bad for them, I won't make fun of them at all. I'll only say nice things. So, any tips on roasting people?
Yeah, it was always a positive spin. Always a positive spin. Your character always gave everything a positive spin. Yeah.
Is there like any tips on maybe how to get away with saying some things? Maybe saying a certain voice or acting dumb or anything that
acting dumb. And you were doing a ridiculous character, so you were acting weird anyway. So but it was just keeping everything very, positive. That's what I focused on, was the positive, the funny positive stuff. Yeah. And there was usually quite a bit of it. So
what kind of characters were you?
I was Angelina Di Linguini, the Italian cleaning lady.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
So yeah, I had this awful Italian accent that I used.
I love that accent. The worse, the better.
And then another one of my favorites, and this was specifically for men, was the homeless woman. Okay. And I had this bag full of women's stuff, and then I would take it out and put it on them.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That usually went over, really well. So yeah.
I had a character. I didn't act on it, but it was a network marketer from hell. But very simple. Come to your house and just dump out all this stuff and say, "I'm going to vacuum it up," and then the vacuum doesn't work. That was my idea for a sketch. But you know what? Maybe I'll do it this year. I think it'd be so funny. Can you imagine a woman coming to your house and dumping all this stuff, and then she just gets out of here?
Oh no.
and a stupid Southern accent to get away with it.
Yep. Yeah.
So here's my final question.
Yes.
A lot of people have a lot of things to say, but they don't go public with it. And I always think this is not really for you, but like for life coaches, a lot of preachers on the internet, especially, it's like, when did you decide that your opinion was the way? So that's kind of a dig at other people, not to you, but like, when did you decide? And same for me, I decided to go public with my thoughts, and I have my answer. What made you go public with your voice as a narrator, but also your voice, your specific ideas?
Well, I'm really interested in connecting with other people. It's one of the things I enjoy most about my podcast is connecting with all the other writers and giving them a voice that a lot of them aren't authors. They're never going to have an audiobook published, but they're still writing these wonderful stories. And so I think that those stories should be out there. So yeah.
I like the one with your husband being very handsome. So all these women say these.
Oh yeah, that was a great one. Yeah,
that was fun. They say kind of lewd comments right in front of. One woman was stroking his arm right in front of you.
Yeah.
And I guess I relate to it because I'm an actress and I used to model more. I kind of model, but yeah, I guess I have had people hit on me in very weird ways in front of my significant other, and it must be very weird to be on the other end. And then sometimes I'm on both ends of it. It's like
yeah. So it was a story you don't hear very often from it's like
it would be cool to have a lot of people calling into a show and sharing their stories of their significant other or them being hit on right in front. Like, how do you handle that?
Yeah. It was. Yeah.
Well, social media time. Where can people find you?
Well, I have a website, www.kriskeppeler.com. And that's Kriskeppeler. Yeah. Very German spelling of Kepler. And you can find me on Twitter at Kris KK LinkedIn, Kris Keppeler, Facebook, Kris Keppeler. So yeah, and Instagram. So,
and more importantly, where can we find your husband? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That has to do with her story on her podcast, which you can check out on her website about her handsome husband. And well, I hope you enjoyed. This has been Elle Man with Kris Keppeler, and now back to more It Came from the Radio.